So a very good evening to all of you and welcome to Hodge Hill Church. My name is Reverend Al Barrett. I'm the vicar here and have been for the last 16 years. It is a joy to welcome you here tonight for this important event in the life of our local democracy, organised by an informal grouping of us called Community Democracy in Bromford and Hodge Hill. We are keen to foster good conversations between local people, engaging with the work of politics from day to day, and also engaging with politicians and candidates around elections as well. So a very warm welcome. Thank you for coming and thank you for bearing with us with a slightly complicated registration process. It's really good to have you with us tonight. Just a few housekeeping notes before we begin properly. Firstly, toilets are through the door just behind Tim, who's kind of ushering us in that direction. Please do feel free to use those during the evening. There is not a plan for a fire drill tonight, so if fire alarms go off, please exit the building as quickly as possible through the main doors that way, and there is also a fire exit that way as well. We are being filmed tonight. We're being live streamed by our local radio station, Radio Apguaz UK, and also we are filming it ourselves and recording that, and we'll be sharing that film after the event on social media so that those who have not been able to come tonight, who want to hear from our candidates, will be able to do so in the coming days before the election next Thursday. That means, please, that we ask you, please, to not film yourselves on your phones tonight. Please just trust us to do that. And also, please make sure your mobiles are on silent because we are going to do our very best to keep to time and to listen to each other tonight. And so we don't want any extra interruptions. And so, just a little explanation of the format of the evening and some ground rules. In a moment, we will begin with the candidates giving us opening addresses. Each of them will have the chance to speak for 2 minutes, where they can lay out their stall. We'll then have a generous amount of question time. I reckon it's going to take us about 10 minutes per question, which means we'll have time for about 8 questions. They have been submitted in advance as we requested, and I have selected, hopefully, what will represent a cross-section of the themes that these elections are about, so that we'll be able to hear from the candidates on a wide spectrum of different themes that are of concern to local people. That means that not everyone who submitted a question will have the chance to ask it, and apologies for that. But if that was the case, we would be going on until midnight, and I'm sure none of us quite have that stamina. So I will be inviting a questioner by name to come and put their question to the candidates. We invite everybody who's speaking, please, to use the microphone that enables all in the room to be able to hear nice and clearly, and also that enables clarity for our recording. So I'll invite a questioner by name. I'll repeat their question, and then a candidate from each party will have 1 minute to respond to the question, and then the questioner will have 1 minute opportunity to respond to what they've heard after the candidates have spoken. That will bring us to about 8:40 p.m. And then the candidates will each have 1 minute to give us a closing statement, a kind of summing up. And then the candidates will have an opportunity to leave if they wish, and then there'll be some closing thoughts and conversation between us before we finish at 9 p.m. on the dot. So just a few ground rules, because these kind of things can risk getting a little bit heated. And so I want to invite all of you, both candidates and audience, to please listen respectfully without interrupting. And the flip side of that is that each candidate will be given equal time to speak. So candidates, I'm looking at you particularly, will you please respect those time limits? I've got a series of cards Green means you can talk freely. Orange means you've got 20 seconds to go. And red means stop talking right now. And as you can see, there is a lovely audience in front of you who will see those numbers. And this applies to people asking questions as well. Phil Howkins, I'm looking at you. We have a lovely audience here tonight, and if you go over your time, I suspect there will be general booing and hissing. Some of us are very good at being an audience for a pantomime, so please respect those time limits, and we'll all go home happy. Even you, Phil. Thirdly, on the ground rules, I invite you, all of us in the room, both candidates and audience, to treat each other as equally precious human beings. We will have tonight zero tolerance of any form of verbal aggression or personal abuse. That includes sexism, homophobia, racism, religious discrimination, or ableism. So please just treat each other with the utmost of respect, even if you disagree fiercely with their politics. We respect each other as human beings here tonight. Fourthly, please remember that the focus here tonight is local politics. And so what we'll be focusing on tonight is not national or global issues. It will be policies for this ward and for the running of Birmingham City Council. We will also, and we've been encouraged by some of those who've been involved in shaping tonight's questions, we will also be focusing on the future more than on the past. Candidates, we're interested in what you and your party will do if you're elected. We're not interested particularly in raking over the coals of what has been done or hasn't been done or should have been done differently. So please focus on looking forward, not back. And I think that is it. So I am going to invite, and we're going to begin in alphabetical order by party, just in case you're wondering how people have been arranged here. We're going to begin with the Green Party candidate, Zach, at this end, and you have 2 minutes each to give us an opening address.
Can I go? Can I go? Yes. Hello. Good evening, everyone. I'm Zachariah Jonah, your neighbour. I'm no politician. I'm your local chartered accountant. I'm done with the council's financial madness. 760 million wasted on equal pay claims. 150 million on an IT system that never worked. Elect me and I'll scrutinise every pound. Who better to sort out the finances than a chartered accountant? Let me be clear about what I'll fight for from day one. Firstly, ending the bin strike. You pay your council tax, bins uncollected, recycling rotting, and garden waste dead. Labour waited until days before the election to confess there's a deal. I'll make it my first job to find out what's in it and if it actually works. Secondly, fixing the potholes. Our roads in Bromford and Hodge Hill are causing damage to cars and making journeys dangerous. I will demand a street-by-street repair plan with clear deadlines. No more sticking plasters on the same holes year after year, wasting endless amounts of money that we haven't got. Thirdly, backing our local businesses. Small businesses are hurting and I've had enough. I'll fight for a freeze on business rates, council tax, and increased funding. Fourthly, a crackdown on dangerous and speeding drivers, tougher enforcement, tougher sentences for dangerous drivers, consult the residents, roll out more ANPR cameras, speed bumps, and review speed limits on key roads. And finally, creating real jobs. 0-hour contracts aren't an opportunity, they're a trap. Give our young people real apprenticeships, local jobs, and real skills. On election day, if you want a councillor who fights on the issues that actually matter to you, bins, potholes, dangerous drivers, businesses and jobs, then vote for the Green Party, vote for me, Zachariah Jonah, for Bromford and Hodge Hill. Thank you for listening.
In time as well. So next, for the Labour Party, Diane.
Hello, my name's Diane Donaldson. I've been a councillor here. I was elected in 2016. I've been a councillor nearly 10 years now. I'm also chair of the Licensing and Public Protection Committee, and not a cabinet member like some of the other candidates have alluded. As the chair of Licensing and Public Protection, we're in very much looking towards enforcing things like pavement parking. The new laws will be coming in September, when we can fine people who park illegally, and people who are tearing up our grass verges and making the ward look untidy. My background was in the National Health. I worked in the National Health Service. And I lived in the constituency for most of my life, except for a few years when I worked abroad in Libya, in a university hospital. So I'm very much in favour of protecting our NHS. Do not want to see our NHS privatised. So I will fight for the NHS. And if I'm elected, I hope to continue working in licensing and public protection. I've worked with the taxi, which is a vast remit, including taxi drivers, licensing. Okay, sorry. Yeah. So I'd hope to continue this work, and I think we've enforced about sorry.
The Labour Party also.
Yes, thank you, Reverend. I'm truly honoured and deeply privileged to have served the people of Bromford Hodge Hill for the last 15 years. This community is not just where I live with my family, it's where I've listened to your concerns, stood beside you through challenges and celebrated your successes. It's where I've seen resilience, pride and determination that inspires me every single day. And let's be honest, these years have not been easy. We faced the harsh reality of austerity with over £1 billion worth of cuts to our City Council budget. Cuts that have tested us, cuts that could have held us back. But together, working with residents, we refused to stand still. Alongside residents and my ward colleague, Councillor Diane Donaldson, we fought not for headlines, but for you, for every family, for every street, for every corner of our community. We've delivered £28 million worth of flood defences to the Bromford to protect property and livelihoods. We created safer crossings, better parks and new play areas for our children. We stood firm to protect against inappropriate developments. We're going to have the first average speed camera installed on Coleshill Road in September of this year. We've continued to upgrade our roads. Bromford Road, Ridfield Road, Stetchford Road, they've all had resurfacing either on the carriageway or the footpath. We've installed speed cushions to tackle road safety measures. We continue to work with residents on a daily basis, casework. We've probably littered that with thousands over the years. But we're now in the next chapter. For the first time since I've been elected as a councillor, we've had a fair local government settlement of 651 million. This is going to enable us to bring some hope and ambition to the Bromford and Hodge Hill. Bromford and Hodge Hill deserves the very best, and we will continue to fight for Bromford and Hodge Hill. We'll continue to deliver. Our commitment is unwavering to the people of Hodge Hill. I live here, I'm your neighbour. Is that the yellow or the green? I will continue to do my best for the people of Bromford and Hodge Hill always. Thank you.
Everyone's doing very well keeping to time so far. I'm really impressed. So we continue with the Liberal Democrat candidate, Iftikhar.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Iftikhar Hussain. I've been living here for 25 years as a resident of Hodge Hill and Bromford Ward. I have seen over the years this ward has been neglected. This is one of the worst wards in not just Birmingham, it's mentioned in the whole of the UK. There's so much negligence around here. We got potholes, our footpaths are perishing, there is nothing around here for our children, no youth centres. What we want to do ourselves, I mean, look, already this bin strike has cost this city over £34 million. That could have been negotiated in the first early stages. They've just put it in principle right now. They are saying, okay, we will agree to you what we had agreed to you earlier on, but that is not right now the way to deal with it. Is too late. because they're not in power anymore, and they're not going to be in power after May the 7th. So they cannot negotiate. It's only in principle. So we, as Lib Dems, what we will do is we want to cleaner streets. We want a better environment, bulky waste collection. We want to collect your bins every week, not like Labour wants to do it every 2 weeks. We want to also safer streets. We want to fix the roads, fix the potholes. We want to make sure the funding which is available for this area is used around this area, not being neglected. I mean, the two Labour councillors, unfortunately, they are both members. One of them is a cabinet member and the other was licensing. Talking about the licensing, she has not held any licensing with regard to the taxi drivers. I'm a private hire representative. I represent them free of charge for the past 15 years. I have been involved in many community issues. I also work as a volunteer with the policing around the area. So if you vote for me, I will work for you. As a resident of this city, as a resident of Bromford and Hodge Hill, I will work for the community. So please vote for me and we will make this area better. Thank you.
And our second Liberal Democrat candidate, Arshad.
Hi, evening, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Arshad Hussain. I have a business in Hodge Hill. I live in Smallheath, but I have a business in Hodge Hill. I'll be working along with Iftikhar regarding the bin strike, also the bulky waste collection, and also there's a lot. There's a lot of antisocial behavior around this area. Previously myself, I used to work as a youth club assistant. So I'll be also working for that and also working for the elders to open up a community center around this area. That's all.
Hello all, my name is Duncan Riley. I'm standing here as the Reform candidate. I grew up in Birmingham, I know Birmingham, and I know this community. I currently work as a paralegal, so anything legal, with the police I can obviously help with. We deserve safer, cleaner and more connected streets. First and foremostly, I would tackle the roads. The potholes are literally damaging people's cars. And when will it actually change? Not tomorrow, not next week, it needs to be sorted now. I'll also address the antisocial behaviour. The youth of today have nothing, and we need to give them proper outlets, and our streets need to be safer, we don't need to be fearful. We need to revitalise our pathways too, better lighting, safer walkways, and the commitment to keeping our streets clean. I'll push for stricter bin enforcement, so no one has to deal with the overflowing bins. And I won't do this alone. I'll work hand in hand with the police, ensuring we have a stronger liaison, a visible presence, and a partnership that makes real difference. Together, we can make a serious change in this area. As other candidates have pointed out, it has gone down to the ground. When is enough? We need change now, and it's as simple as that. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. So you've heard their opening statements, and now we're moving into questions. And the first question is from Zainab. Would you like to come up and just use the microphone to ask your question?
Hi everyone. So my question is, I want to ask what work you've already done in the community which can show us your commitment to serving this ward and your credibility in this election.
Thank you. So what community work have you done in this ward in the past to show your commitment and credibility? I'm going to start at this end with Duncan, and then we're going to go this way.
Personally, right now, I've not done anything in the community personally, just because I've just been so busy with my own life and work. But that does not stop anything. I mean, when we look at what you want out of an ex-councillor, I will be a present face. There are community programmes that deserve a councillor to be at, and that's something I will personally do. I devote a lot of my time to this community.
Would you like to choose which of you?
Yeah, I'll answer that. You want to go, please? Okay, hiya. Myself, right, I've done a lot of community work around this area. First of all, I went around here and then reported all the potholes, and also wherever there was fly tipping, I reported that. Also, people have been abandoning vehicles. I've had vehicles removed from around Bromford. I've also spotted some spots where people are breaking cars, and also, what I did was there's a lot of vehicles which were stolen from here, and then they was being stored down Sholesdale Road, back of the shops. I've reported that to the police. I got them removed, and I've been kind of a policing around this area. We've spoken to many residents, and they advised us about the potholes and also about the bulky waste collection. I got them, some of it removed as well, and I've been working with the bin workers around here to make sure all your bin is collected on the time as well. So whatever that's... Oh.
Thank you. Which of you would you like to?
Yeah, thank you. So I was a governor at Hodge Hill Primary School for 12 years. I was a governor at Hodge Hill College for 8 years. I'm a director of Birmingham Airport Holdings, and I've done lots of community work around Community First, where we delivered approximately £80,000 to different organisations in the ward. As a councillor, I've delivered flood defences in Birmingham to the tune of £28 million. We delivered retrofit to social housing in the Bromford, 250 properties at a cost of £27.2 million. We have plans in place to refurbish a number of tower blocks in the area, and also to build 3 new parks, including another park at Stedford Public Open Space with 361,000. We've also built affordable homes in the Bromford. We've supported developers bringing homes into the area, worked with them to elicit as much Section 106, which is the money we can use for community assets in the city. Food recycling has a pilot in the ward for 2,000 properties. I think it gives me a signal to stop.
Thank you.
First of all, thank you for the question. Yeah, I mean, I've helped a lot of young people. I've got a business here. It's an accounting practice, obviously, and I've helped a lot of people get apprenticeships, young obviously people obviously that are stuck in obviously what they want to do in their careers. So we've helped them with apprenticeships and careers-wise. I've also run football tournaments at the Power League for disadvantaged youths. So I think that's had a big impact on their behaviour, and obviously gives them a bit of guidance in their lives. And the last thing I did was obviously I helped a few residents that struggled to go to the tip at the start of the bin strikes. There's a lot of elderly residents who obviously don't drive, so they had a lot of bins. So obviously I did that at that time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Zainab, would you like to respond? No? Thank you for your question. So our next question is from Mohammed Khalid. Mohammed?
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. My name is Mohammed Khalid. I live in the local area. So just a quick question, really. What's the one thing you would change in Hodge Hill in the first 6 to 12 months if you're elected as councillor? Something new I would like to hear, not the old story, please. Thank you.
So what's the one thing you would change in Hodge Hill in the first 6 to 12 months if you were elected as councillor? Thank you, Mohammed. Let's start at this end, Zach.
Thank you for your question. I've got a few things, but I think the first thing I think is going to be pretty obvious is going to be the bin strike. So obviously I'd look to end the bin strike, get a fair deal. Obviously there's a fair deal on the table, as Labour have said. So it's gone on for far too long. We need cleaner streets, obviously, which is better for everyone, residents and businesses. And obviously this ends with the Green Council.
Thank you for the question. The one thing that I'd like to see is more housing. So many people are in temporary accommodation at the moment, and 38,000 people on the housing waiting list. But we are delivering, and we're delivering houses on the Bromford that we've built towards the far end of Bromford, so about 125 houses, and they can't come quick enough. And that's what Labour is delivering. Thank you.
Thank you. Lib Dem?
Yeah, the first thing I will do is, because you got so many potholes and that is damaging our vehicles, so we like to fix all the roads around here, because without better roads you can't do nothing, because you can't go to schools, and every day your vehicle is broken down. There is many other things which are also priority, but that is the main thing right now. Bin strike is going to end anyway. As soon as the election is over, bin strike is gone, so bin strike will not be there. But fixing the roads, that has been there for years, and neighbour had neglected it. We like to fix the roads straight away. Thank you.
Yeah, first thing I would like to... Okay.
Someone's eager. So, simple as this, the youth. The youth really does not have anything. The antisocial behaviour is on the rise. It needs to be dealt with. And it needs to be dealt with forefrontly, and it needs to be, we need to save a place to live. I speak to a lot of people, and they're scared to leave the house, you know, because people drive up the road like it's an F1 racetrack, or they're doing this gas canister balloons thing. It needs to stop. We need to find the source and sort it out within the first couple of months. Thank you.
Thank you. Mohammed, would you like to respond?
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. I mean, it's similar to what we already heard, but I would have been more interested in the education side of things in our local schools. You know, how are we making the schools accountable for the education for our children? Are they improving? Are they going back? You know, what are we really doing? Who's actually going to go to schools and make sure that the education is being delivered to the highest quality possible? And I'm sorry, I didn't hear that today. I'm a little bit disappointed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed, for your question. Our next question is on housing, and it's Danielle. Would you like to come to the
Hiya. We wanted to know, how will you regulate the number and qualities of HMOs in our ward?
I think HMOs are a serious issue in this area because they seem to be on every single street, and obviously the people around that are struggling to either sell their house or struggling to live there. So under a reform council, we're going to intervene the Article 4 intervention and liaise properly with residents to make sure that HMOs are properly managed, because they're not, and that's the truth. On my street alone, I think there's about 4, and they cause me an absolute nightmare. So they will be stopped immediately. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, with regards to HMOs, they are supported exempt accommodations. We have actively lobbied to the government to bring in some kind of legislation where these HMO companies are responsible who they actually house these people in there. Because at the end of the day, it is the community that needs to also decide, and they should be encouraged to make sure that whoever is building a HMO next door to them, they do report it and make them accountable to these companies, because randomly there are so many companies just popping up around the corner and nobody seems to be doing anything. Unfortunately, it's the Labour Council that has been giving them these HMO licenses, so we like to see an end to that. So we like to see somebody responsible and take responsibility for it, so we will make sure that we listen to the community's needs. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And for Labour.
Thank you. So there's only a handful of HMOs actually in the B36 area, given that you have to apply for planning permission to get an HMO. You can actually check it on the public register with the City Council. We made it law that you had to apply for planning to have a HMO. What you do have, which is what everyone refers to, is supported exempt accommodation, where managing agents take over the running of a property. Those are heavily managed, and Labour comes back in. We've got a plan in place already that every single support exempt accommodation will have to apply for planning. That will give the residents a say then to stop the supported exempt accommodation occurring across the ward. I get lots of casework from residents who are essentially fed up with the number of SCAs they have. There's a couple of roads, both in the Bromford and in Hodge Hill, where there's just far too many. That's why this new planning application, new planning class that we're going to introduce, that will hopefully stop it. Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, Greens.
Thank you for your question. Yeah, I mean, HMOs are a problem obviously in this area. I mean, I've got some from where I live, and obviously it kind of like reduces the value of your property. So I do understand the concern. I think the main issue here is you have to look at the local planning, obviously see if you can add something to that, where obviously there's more consultation with the residents, because obviously a lot of people, you work hard to own your own property, and if, obviously when HMOs obviously come up up against you or as a neighbour, it does reduce the value. So I fully understand, and I think we need better planning laws and obviously consult the residents more. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Danielle, would you like to respond? No? Thank you very much. The next question is on highways and transport, and it's Ismail.
What is your strategy in relation to parking on verges, pavements, and when will our roads be drivable and pothole-free?
Thank you. Just to repeat the question, what is your strategy in relation to parking on verges and pavements, and when will our roads be drivable and pothole-free? Beginning at the Zach's end this time.
Thank you for your question. Yeah, I mean, in terms of... Hello. In terms of wages, obviously, I think we need more wardens, and yeah, I think that's where it's obviously instead of obviously cutting the budget, because I think Labour cut the budget about 20 million, so we need more wardens so we can actually enforce. Obviously, the laws are there. We just need to try and enforce them. In terms of obviously the potholes, yeah, I agree. I mean, I think as I said in my opening speech, we need a obviously street by street plan. Obviously stop. And I think the other issue is obviously every time it gets fixed, 6 months later the same hole pops up again. So we need proper fixes and not just plasters. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And for Labour?
Yeah, many years ago, I was one of the councillors that pushed the government to introduce legislation to prohibit parking on grass verges. It's been introduced in London and the Greater London Act, and in Edinburgh and Glasgow. Birmingham is next. We're awaiting secondary legislation, should come through September of this year. So if anyone is parked on a grass verge or pavement, they will be penalised with a fine. I think it's £70. We're just working through the finer details with that. In relation to potholes, last year we repaired more than 20,000 potholes in the city, and this year we repaired approximately 500 to 1,000 every week. The problem we had was during the winter season, because we had freeze-thaw conditions, so when you had a little crack on the road, the water would seep through and then it would bring all the pebbles out onto the road. But we have a plan in place to invest £15 million into the highway network to include large carriageway schemes as opposed to the patchwork. Where we do need to do the patchwork, we are doing the patchwork. We've done it on Bromford Drive. Also, I've also raised a number of curbs across the ward as well. Stetchford Road, Bromford Road. Just recently, you probably saw the work on Bromford Drive as well. I'm going to continue the programme on Southbourne Avenue and Stetchford Road. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And for the Lib Dems.
What we will do with regards to parking on the grass verges is to introduce an enforcement where that enforcement that should have been happened here many years ago. Unfortunately, there is on many other cities, but this city has failed. What we will do is we will introduce enforcement and go around the streets, and those who are parking on the verges, prosecute them and send them fines. With regards to the potholes, we need to see them fixed straight away because they are damaging, and they should have done this. Unfortunately, 24 to 25 budget was £50 million to be used on the roads. Unfortunately, only 4.4 million was used. 45.6 million has disappeared, and I'd like to know where that has gone. Unfortunately, it's the Labour Party that has not used that funds. So those funds should have been used around the streets to fix the roads, fix the potholes, fix your footpaths. But unfortunately, the only done is raising the curb. Raising the curb is not the answer. You look around here, the priority should have been, sorry.
Finally, Riffle.
Potholes are obviously a very, very clear issue in this area, and obviously the current council obviously just patch it over. Under reform, will make sure that it's quality over quantity. The people that park on the pathways and are obstructing things, we need to properly liaise with the police. We need to double check those number plates, make sure that they're either removed or either fined and prosecuted to make sure it doesn't stop again. Fining people, some of these people in this area are very, very rich, very, very wealthy, some people, and they'll keep doing it, and they'll keep doing it, and they'll keep doing it. When is enough? When are we actually going to say enough's enough? And under reform, we'll make sure prosecution happens immediately. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ismail, would you like to respond?
I'm somewhat disappointed because there wasn't any new ideas, and I'm not interested in promises of fines or punishments. Actually, what I was hoping for was something a bit more systematic. Maybe let's identify the hotspots. Let's identify suitable parking for those areas, rather than just. I think it's not thinking of the residents who are also trying to park, to suggest that we're just going to come in with a hammer. But thank you for your answers.
Thank you. Our next question is on youth services, and it's Chloe. Chloe, would you like to?
What are your plans for more and better parks and opportunity for young people in our ward?
Thank you, Chloe. Just to repeat that question, what are your plans for more and better parks and opportunities for young people in our ward? We're going to start with the Lib Dems and then go Reform, and then Labour, and then Green.
What we would like to see is, we got a lot of open space around Bromford and Hodge Hill. We would like to see that spaces being used for our youth, for the youngsters, because there are not many facilities around here. Like already they are trying to do something like on Station Road. We like to see something like that built around here, maybe on the Beaufort, Colwell Park. And also we got a lot of space on Bromford Drive. We like to build some youth centres there for the next generation. And because there, as you can see, there's only a few swings here and there. They've been spending that much money, but we like to spend much more money. So where elders can go there, where youngsters can go there, where they can feel that they can just use these park facilities. At the moment, they're not being able to use those facilities because there are not enough facilities, only grass all over. So we just don't need the grass. We need to implement something in there for everybody to use. Thank you very much.
I'm very, very passionate about the youth, and obviously I've mentioned it previously. End of the day, you know, we need to make sure that the youth are listened to. And something I'm open to doing is speak to the youth directly and finding out what they want, and obviously implementing that. Obviously, we need safer parks and we need safer streets as well. Obviously, antisocial behaviour does happen in parks, obviously graffiti and everything. And if we, obviously, under reform, if we get any whiff of that, we immediately go out on that day. Not tomorrow, not next week, leave it to rot. You know, and those are some of the things that we'd obviously put in place. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we're blessed with Yes, sorry. Yeah, we're blessed with quite a lot of parks and green spaces. I've always said parks are our greatest asset in the city, and that's why we're going to continue to invest. We managed to double the Section 106 that we've got from the development of Colza Road, so there'll be a brand new park at the Stetchford Public Open Spaces costing £361,118. And we're going to put in the bid for £800,000 community infrastructure levy. That's for 3 green spaces in the Bromford, so that will be a former Warstone Tower site that we're looking to develop in a park there, Comet Park as well, and further down on Berrindale Road as well. As a council, in the budget, we committed £40,000 to the ward that will be donated towards community projects. So we support our organisation. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all the community organisations in the Bromford and Hodge Hill who have done some amazing work during these challenging years of Ulster. That's Worth Unlimited, Bromford First, and everyone else that's participated. Thank you.
Thank you. And Greens.
Firstly, thank you for your question. Yeah, I mean, it's quite close to my heart because I mean, I think I'm 40 and I still feel quite young. I think like we're one of the youngest cities in Europe as well. So I think we've got 0 youth centres in our ward. We've got 0 libraries. Obviously, that's shameful because especially 1 in 10 children, they don't have access to a book. 40% of deprived areas, the children don't achieve the expected standard in numeracy and in literacy. Obviously, in Labour, have cut the children's services budget by 39 million. Obviously, so the system is actually obviously broken. What we will do, obviously, is fix the finances, then invest big in youth services and education and local park services. We'll open youth centres and offer workshops on careers advice and upskilling opportunities, invest in local youth projects like Career Pathways is one of them that obviously I work with, free business rates and upskill residents via training. This will attract investment into the ward, grants for hiring young people, grants for young people who want to open businesses. I think it's time to stop talking and take action because generation after generation, we keep saying lost. Oh, that's close.
Thank you very much. Chloe, would you like to respond?
No, yeah, I'd just like to say, because I'm a youth worker myself, like there is 2 youth centres already on Bromford Drive. But But, you know, we ain't got much funding, we ain't got much staff, so we're really limited to so much we can do. And I've speak to the youth, and it's just parks. On the whole area, there's one park, and it's all the way down to the bottom of the Bromford. There's no other parks. So all the kids I spoke to, they want better parks.
Thank you, Chloe, for your question. The next question is on waste and recycling, and it's Paul.
So, I get the rubbish question. That's as good as the jokes get. So, I mean, since this question was written, maybe the first part of it is already answered, but I'm still going to ask it. What will you do to end the current bin strikes? And what is your strategy for waste and recycling going forward?
Thank you, Paul. So what will you do to end the current bin strikes, and what is your strategy for waste and recycling going forward? We're going to start with Labour this time.
Yeah, thank you for the question. You probably saw the news this week, hence why your question is probably outdated slightly, but the leader has agreed a statement of intent with Unite to bring an end to the bin strike. In terms of recycling, there is a plan in place whether or not industrial action continues to bring recycling back into Birmingham. Mid-June, we'll start off with the Perry-Bar depot. There's 3 depots in Birmingham: Perry-Bar, Atlas Works in Tyseley, and Lifford Lane in South Birmingham, where our services from Atlas Works, the plan then is September of this year that we will bring recycling back. Food recycling has already started 2,000 properties in the ward and is going really well. In fact, Bromford Hodge Hill has the highest percentage of food recycling percentage, approximately 36%. And since we started the food recycling over 6 weeks, there's been 50 tonnes have already been presented by residents of this city. Our recycling rates are dire. We need to get to 65% by 2035. Our recycling rate in Bromford Hodge Hill was approximately 26%, which is far too low. We're third bottom league in the country as well. So we have a plan to bring it back in, whether or not industrial action continues.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you again for your question. Firstly, we have to say negotiations ended in July 2025, obviously, which is absolutely shocking. It's obviously a year later. We get it's a vague framework for a deal. It's not actually been agreed yet. Obviously, that's absolutely scandalous. Is a strike over? Well, obviously, we don't know, because what Labour say and what they do is completely different. And obviously, I've been with the workers and the unions. They've told me that obviously there is no trust in Labour and there's still a lot of work to do. Obviously, and that work we cannot trust Labour to do. Obviously, myself and a lot of residents I've spoken to on the door, they see this as an election stunt, taking them for mugs. Again, Labour cut this budget by 20 million, which has obviously resulted in recycling gone, green waste cancelled, whereas council tax and business rates continue to rise. Plus, the council spent millions on agency staff, obviously covering the bin strikers. Another thing is obviously flight tipping. Oh, sorry, I want to answer the second part. The second part is, I'd like to introduce weekly collections, but also probably 2 weekly is not a bad idea if it's financially viable, but obviously providing larger bins. So whichever one's viable, but I would prefer weekly bin collections.
Thank you. To Reform.
Reform UK have already been in talks with Unite the Union, and although Labour have said they've reached agreement, why did it take 16 months? Oh, how tactical. And the truth is, no agreement has been reached. It's been a political agreement. Reform are wanting to do twice weekly bin collection, a bit like the Greens, and I think we'd quite happily work alongside the Greens to implement that if we are chosen. We need to make sure the waste is taken, and for too long we've just been treated like second-rate citizens in such a great city. There's rats and whatnot. It needs to be sorted. Thank you.
Hi there. Well, it's only an agreement in principle. That agreement is not in place. They cannot do it without the consultation of the whole council house. If that agreement was done right now, why wasn't that agreement done when the first week, when it started? It's far too late now. £34 million of taxpayers' money has been wasted down the drain. So who's going to pay for it? If that agreement is agreed, then what's going to happen is they're going to put about council tax up again. So with regards to dealing with your waste, what we will do is we will collect it every week, rather than what the Labour proposal is to collect your bins every 2 weeks and to give you an extra bin. If you lived one street where you don't have a front garden, you already got 3 bins. Do you need another 4th bin there? You don't need that, because we also, what we will do is we'll encourage the businesses to make sure that they use commercial companies to pick up their waste. So that way there's no fly tipping and the waste doesn't come on the roads. And then we will also make sure that your council tax, that does not go up. We will cap the council tax. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Paul, would you like to respond?
Yeah, I mean, for me, there was a bit of an answer around the wider issues of rubbish, so I appreciate those answers, but you know, I think we need to get through these bin strikes, because the thing that saddens me is we're not talking about recycling. The issues around the food waste, I'm in favour of it, I already do it, but we can't really talk about it until we sort out the problem that we've got now. So I want to see 4 bins, 5 bins. I think, you know, we should be recycling as much as possible and less should go in the landfill. So I'd love to have heard more about that rather than about sorting out crises.
Thank you, Paul. Before we go on to the next question, I've had a bit of a request that there are a couple of candidates we're not hearing so much from. So I wonder if Labour and Lib Dems might think about kind of balancing their answers a little bit more between your 2 candidates. It'd be lovely to hear from all the candidates that we have an opportunity to vote for. Our next question is on policing and community safety. There are a couple of questions here, and the first one is from John McCabe. John.
The question was, how do you propose to deal with low-level crime that the police won't get involved with because they've got lack of resources, but it causes a huge blight to people's well-being and their daily living? Thank you.
Thank you. So the question is, how do you propose to deal with the low-level criminality that the police will not respond to, but which blights people's lives? And we're going to start, Zach, at your end.
I think we need to obviously look at what the actual low-level crime is first. I think it all comes down to funding. Obviously, the finances are an absolute mess. So obviously, once we get that in order, we can obviously give the police the funding. So I don't think it's obviously the police don't want to investigate. I mean, maybe some of them do, I don't know, but from the police officers I've spoken to, they do want to investigate, but they always come to the fact that the funding is not there, obviously, and that's obviously directly linked to the bankruptcy. So the sooner we fix that, get more funding in the police, they will deal with the low-level crime and obviously other crimes that happen as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. So my colleague has answered a lot of the questions because it's in his remit as cabinet member, which covers a vast remit. So public protection is my remit as chair of licensing and public protection. The West Midlands Police and Crime Commissioner is going to commit to have a named police officer in every ward. So low-level crime can be directly, inquiries can be directly submitted to that officer. So instead of having to go through the whole procedure, so they'll be dealt with immediately. So that should eradicate a lot of problems. Thank you.
Thank you. Lib Dems?
Yeah, I'm already in touch with the Police Crime Commissioner. I have been speaking to him with regards to certain crimes taking place around Birmingham. What we will do is we will try to get more policing around the areas, because that is what's needed, because if there's no policing, we can't tackle the crime. So we need to have more and more police officers. With regards to, you say there's no funding, there is funding available, but unfortunately it's not being used properly. We will make sure that funding which is there, that is used appropriately to tackle all these crime rate which is going up around here. Thank you.
a budget review needs to obviously take place, and obviously we need to liaise with West Midlands Police properly to ensure that we get more community officers. I think over the last 8 weeks that I've been doing this campaign, I've only ever seen one, and he was a lovely gentleman, but he really did not have a clue. I think we need to obviously train them properly. The West Midlands Police obviously need to review that properly as well, and I think with reform, we're very, very passionate about crime and making safer streets. We need honestly, we need probably 10 officers down here weekly to ensure safety is obviously taking place. I think I'm about to get cut off, so I'll end it there. Thank you.
If you'd like to choose which of you responds to the question for the next question, that would be great. Thank you all, and that was John. Would you like to respond?
Well, I think you're probably all a bit hamstrung the fact that ultimately we want a deterrent force, not a reaction force, is which we've got at the moment, because we need to know who our police officer is and becomes part of our community. They're then gathering intelligence, and they're also getting our buy-in to doing community policing. So it's a huge issue that's been neglected for years by people using spreadsheets to measure actual crime rather than the crime that isn't prevent. You can't measure something that doesn't happen. So it's all about money and boots on the ground. So how you do it, I don't know.
Thank you, John. Thank you, John, for your question. We have a second question on policing and community safety, and that's from Phil.
Thanks. Can I first say thank you to all the candidates for coming tonight. It's good to see so many of you here facing the music. Okay. With regards to policing and community safety, one of the things I want to know is how will you control this severe, and I mean severe, drug issues in our ward, including guns and knives? Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. So how will you control the severe drug issues in our ward, including guns and knives? We're going to start with reform.
I think when we're obviously looking at this, obviously I have previously mentioned this, obviously especially with this balloon gas canister thing, I see it everywhere I go. The police need to obviously be here and be a bit more prominent, especially with the community officers. They need to obviously be reporting back to senior officers to get down here and actually sort it out. I want to be a counsellor that I can be approachable to. If you know someone that is having drug misuse, we can work together to get them into rehab, get them actually sorted. It's such a shame when you see someone committing crime, and especially young people as well. Obviously knives and stuff like that, we need to ban it. It's as simple as that. I know a lot of people who are scared to leave the house. I'm sometimes scared to leave my house, thinking I might get shot, might get stabbed. It needs to stop now, and we need to spread that message against everybody, regardless of political views. You need to get that message across. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll answer that. We will introduce community police officers, street watch, put CCTVs around the areas. We need to tackle all this because there's too much going on. Already been, we as a community, we need to also take some initiative and do something about it, because I have been reporting, we now be seeing people who have been drug using and abusing drugs around the area. So I personally have been doing that. I'm not a police officer, but I do work as a volunteer with the police, right? So we will be doing all that to tackle all this. So we need to have community police officers around here. So make sure that this kind of a problem doesn't have one community police officer around for each ward. That will be also one enough to report to them. Neighbourhood watch scheme, we need to introduce neighbourhood watch schemes. There's no neighbourhood watch schemes around here whatsoever at the moment, right? So we need to introduce all that. So that's what we will be doing, and putting CCTVs as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, Labour.
Thank you. I've been working closely with the local police force, also with the trading standards officers and the illegal money lending team who have done fantastic work, not only in this ward but across Birmingham, tackling vape shops that are selling vapes to underage children. So I regularly meet with the police officers and the trading standards who are working hand in hand, and to the closing down, finding shops that are selling tobacco to underage children, but also we secure funding through Simon Foster, the fair funding, which we want to implement community safety officers who will be working in the ward and will free up police officers, low-level crime. They will tackle low-level crime to free up police officers. Thank you. And I'd like to thank the police for their hard work.
Thank you for your question. I think the Lib Dem member, obviously, he's got a big wish list, but obviously, I don't think he understands what a bankruptcy is. He has to sort out the finances before he can do anything. So obviously, I think the first thing we do is sort out the finances, more officers on the streets. I think we need stricter enforcement on the shops that are selling the laughing gas. I think you've seen a lot of these Bob shops pop up everywhere, and I think we all know what they're doing. So obviously, we need a bit more stricter, obviously, from trading standards. And I think one of the key things as well is that we need, obviously, investment in our youth centres and education, because I think we need to help them before they actually get there, because I think everyone wants to punish them and penalise them and say like bad things about them. I think we need more help in the area, and obviously we need more community support officers as well. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all our candidates. Phil, would you like to respond to the question? You just have a minute, like everyone else.
Thank you guys for that. First, I'd like to say that actually we do have a neighbourhood watch, and we do have a street, what do you call it? Street watch. Okay, guys? So before you say these things, just get your facts right. And secondly, I'm not having a go at the police in general, I'm having a go at the powers that be, right? Because the police that they do send try their best, but they're overwhelmed, right? And let's be honest, everybody in this room knows there have been drugs going on the Bromford and on the Firs for years. The difference is that now it's out in the open and these guys are doing it in broad daylight. And I've seen it myself and I've reported it myself, and thankfully our councillor from Labour did something about it. But when the police officers came, it was too late. The guys are all gone. So all I'm saying is we need more police officers.
Thank you, Phil. We have our last question of the ones that were submitted in advance, so we're going to go to Joe.
Hi everyone. Our country and our communities are being divided, and I think often it's being stoked up by politicians. What I'd ask each candidate to do is to tell me what practical steps you would take in this community, in this ward, to promote community cohesion.
Thank you. So what practical steps are you going to take in this ward to promote community cohesion? We're going to start. You sure? Yeah.
I think community is such a big thing. You should never be judged on the colour of your skin. We all bleed the same, end of the day, and I've been quite full frontal with that in my campaign. I have said time and time again, I'm not a racist, I never have been and never will be. I know sometimes people perceive Reform as this anti-far-right party. We're not. We just have real policies, and we're here for the people of here. I want to make sure everyone comes together, everyone feels inclusive. I never want to make anyone feel out of place. We're as one. We can't work in a divided space. We're one community, regardless of religious belief and race. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The same question to the Lib Dems.
I have worked with faith groups around Bromford, around Hodge Hill, and I don't like to mention names, but many of you here, you already know that the work I do within the community. We don't like to see divided community. The whole community as one. When people say there are, unfortunately, parties which are right-wing extremists, unfortunately, there is also reform. Nigel Farage openly calls for all the Muslims, but that's a different thing. I don't want to just target Donald, but openly, Nigel Farage is a racist, whether believe it or not. But Lib Dems, we have a very, very diverse. We work with the whole of the communities. We do not disintegrate that one community over the other. And I have been working with everybody as equal. I have many friends within the community. I have Jewish friends, Christian friends, Muslim friends, Sikh friends, Hindu friends, everybody. And I've been working with everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a real good question. I signed the pledge with Brummies United Against Racism and Hate Crime. It's based on bringing neighbours together and spreading a positive message of unity against racism in all forms of hate in this city. We're blessed in this ward that we've got lots of community groups. For example, we've got Friends of Stretford Hall Park, we've got Friends of Hodge Hill Common, we've got lots of community groups in the Bromford who do an incredible amount of work in bringing the different communities together on more or less on a weekly basis. And without them, especially with the austerity, so the £4,000 that we've now got in the new community chest budget, myself and Dan have already spoken about that. We want to donate that to the community groups, and part of that will be to bring the different people in Bromford and Hodge Hill together.
Thank you. Finally, Greens.
Thank you for your question. I think the majority of us are united. I think the question implies that we are not, which is wrong. I think we have far more in common, which is why we have vibrant, diverse communities. I think the problem is, obviously, we have obviously parties like obviously Reform and now Tories. They try and divide us because they've got nothing of substance to offer. They just want to distract you from the key issues. I mean, what they essentially are is populist parties, so they offer simple questions, obviously answers to complex questions. And obviously the Reform candidate over there, he's mentioned that they're not racist. I mean, I think one of their members, Robert Jenrick, went to Handsworth and said there was no white faces. So I think things like that are what divide us. I think we need to watch our words. We need to have more events like this. We need to celebrate obviously what we have what we have similar. I mean, we've got a football tournament coming up soon. Everyone will hopefully obviously support England. Let's get behind England. And obviously I think that can bring us together. But I think what we have to do is obviously improve the education, because I think everyone's getting obviously influenced by these populist parties that are trying to divide our communities. We have to fight back. Thank you so much. Thank you for your question.
Thank you. Joe, would you like to respond?
Some of them I didn't hear, I'm sorry. I think it's the microphone, it's very muffled. What I heard mostly was platitudes. We'll light a campfire, we'll all stand around it and sing Kumbaya. That's not a serious suggestion. Nobody gave me any practical things that they would do to promote cohesion in this community. A lot of access is put onto combating hate crime, so people resort to that sort of thing to answer it. But what's practically going to be possible? My suggestion, and again, it might sound like a platitude, the only way to combat divisions is to get communities talking honestly together about problems. The problems on all sides. We've got to sit down and talk honestly about what's going on in our communities.
Thank you, Joe. We've come to a point that I hadn't quite expected, where we've actually covered all the questions and all the themes that we had that had been submitted in advance tonight, and we have some time left. So what I'm going to suggest we do is spend 5 minutes in 2s and 3s, have a chat with your neighbour, and if you, between you, come up with a question that you would like to ask, we have about we'll have about 20 minutes left, so probably time for 2 or 3 more questions. So have a chat with your neighbour for 5 minutes. What question have you not had an answer to tonight that you would like to ask our candidates while they're here? You've got 5 minutes in small groups. And if any of you would like to use the facilities while that happens, then please do. But just for the benefit of our audience. That's
Sorry? I can't hear you with the noise. Come over. Come over and say. Am I just too busy playing games? Snake game again, eh? Somebody breaking the door there?
They're just a bit noisy.
Are they? After the election, get together for the community and for the faithful thing.
So the ward end group, I'm kind of sort of on the edge of geographically because my parish kind of finishes at the Fox and Goose. But in terms of anything that's Hodge Hill focused, then absolutely.
Yeah. We need to move on to that.
Yeah.
We need something.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
They will speak like how they
Yeah.
We have already sorry about that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, maybe if you want to say some of that in your closing statements.
I mean, about day after speak.
Sure, but maybe if you want to explain that before we finish, just so that people understand that it's not. Sure. Yeah. Okay, folks, we're going to come back together in 30 seconds. Okay, if you'd like to take your seats again, we have an opportunity for just a few more questions. So, anyone in the audience who's not had a chance to ask a question yet and who'd like to? Lady in the middle.
Hi, thank you for taking my question off the cuff. I just want to precursor my question with a reflection on your contributions today. As a person who has lived on the Bromford my whole life, I've circled back, I'm a little boomeranger. It's really lovely to see the investment that's gone into the area. Just coming out my road today, seeing the new raised curb, fantastic. But what is really, really disappointing this evening is hearing the backbiting, the fighting, the one-upmanship and the politics playing out. We are a community that live here and we have heard so many inaccuracies. Oh, there's no youth centres. Wait, we have a youth worker here telling us there are. If you're going to really take this place on, get to know it. Live here. Don't be telling me about your house twice removed somewhere else. You need to know what it's like to be on the street. The other thing to recognise is your options are, let me put more police here. Let me put more police in the space. Disproportionality exists. Institutional racism exists. My dad asked about community cohesion and the first words out of your mouth were about race and religion. He asked about community cohesion. My question to you is to recircle back. I want practical solutions. What are the things that are going to give positive change to this community that aren't just tick boxing, fix a road, fix this, fix that? I don't want the list. I don't want the shopping list. I want actual practical solutions that address poverty, that address, people struggling to put food on the table. Those are the challenges we need to get at, and the rest will follow. What are the practical solutions to put heart back into people who are struggling?
Thank you so much for your question. What was your name? Ruth. Thank you, Ruth, for your question. So, if I can summarise it, I'll just check with you. What are the practical solutions that you will put forward to make positive change, particularly around poverty and people struggling? Yeah? We're going to start, to give them a bit of warning, we're going to start with the Lib Dems, then we're going to go Labour, then we're going to go Reform, then we're going to go Green. Okay? So, Lib Dems first.
Well, Birmingham has a huge problem with poverty. We have some of the highest level of poverty in the country. With Birmingham, Ladywood and this Hodge Hill constituency being very, very highest. The levels of poverty is so significantly affected by the policies of national government. We, as Lib Dems, we campaigned and we also welcomed the removal of 2-child benefit cap to lift children across the country out of poverty. However, relative levels of child poverty are an indicator of the success or failure of each city, and the high levels in Birmingham demonstrate how Birmingham Labour has failed in the past 14 years. We must change this, and we will change this. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a reminder of the question, practical positive solutions. Labour.
Yeah, thank you. Despite the austerity that cut the City Council budget by approximately 1 billion, we fared quite well in Bromford Hodge Hill forward, because we've gone to various avenues, tried to bring in the money. As you saw today yourself, the raised curbing on Bromford Drive, that was a practical solution following residents' complaints. We installed a footway crossing. At the time, people abused and started parking vehicles on this, so we had to install the drop curbs, raised curbs. Put in free breakfast clubs for 4 primary schools in the Bromford. So they're based on social deprivation levels for the schools. So the lower your social deprivation, so the higher it is, then you're first in line. So Colborne Prime and Hodge Hill Prime will follow suit at some point going forward. We brought in renters' right because people need to feel safe and protected in their homes. We brought in the renters' right to give people safe, secure homes. And as we go following years, we're in a new chapter now where we have got the funding that we've got. There's more funding being given to the police. That will bring more police officers into the community. More funding, for example, we've set aside £300,000 for more road safety and active travel measures in the ward itself.
Thank you. Reform.
Yeah, so obviously we've heard a lot about obviously budgets and everything, and Ruth, thank you so much for your question. I think from my point of view is I want to really communicate with the local organisations to obviously tackle down on child poverty, which is obviously on a rise in this area, offering more street kitchens. You know, there's people's houses with mould in, and obviously that's poor living conditions. I want to get in there, be practical, liaise with Equans, liaise with everybody to ensure everybody lives a happy, safe life. The basic need for a child to have a meal every day is standard. Some children don't even have that, and that really, really sickens me, to be honest. And I'd like to get that done within the first couple of months, really. Thank you.
Thank you. And Greens.
Hi, thank you for your passionate question. I think the first thing we have to do is obviously fix the finances, because obviously with that comes the funding. And what I said before, obviously I'd like to freeze the council tax. I think that's become like a second mortgage for most people. It's absolutely ridiculous. Obviously help with the bills as well, obviously, especially now. Obviously they've more than doubled. And I think obviously another key thing is to invest in education, because that's a pathway for people to get out of poverty. And obviously at the moment the budget for that is being obviously cut. Again, obviously what the council said here, obviously free breakfast clubs, and obviously pupil premium as well. I've seen expansion on that. And I think I said previously, grants to young people who want to start businesses. And obviously a few other things. We'd like to introduce free bus travel. I think that's what Zach Polanski, the leader, announced earlier on this couple of weeks ago. And lastly, I would like to see an increase in the personal allowance. At the moment, it's about £12,500. I'd like to see it increase to £20,000. So obviously you don't pay any personal tax until you earn £20,000. So I think that'd be a big obviously increase for people's living conditions and obviously wages. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ruth, would you like to respond?
Thank you for that, and thank you for some positivity and options on the table. I think my one reflection based on all of this would be to suggest and challenge you to challenge yourselves in the context of what these conversations are going to look like. How are you going to connect with people that you are surrounded by? And I'm still struggling and stuck a little bit on this idea of, you know, investing in community policing or putting more funding into policing and this kind of punitive measure of, you know, fining people because that's the way through it. Quite like the idea of not paying as much tax. But the challenge we need to consider is how are we getting to the heart of people's ability to not stereotype, to not lean into their personal biases and assumptions about the areas that they are within. Some of those political, racialized and religious biases that are coming in require all of us to take a step and go, actually, what do I actually think about this? It's not enough to be, you know, I'm not a racist. It's about being anti-racist. It's not enough to say I believe in all religions. It's going, do I know enough? And actually, I want to see a commitment to training. I want to see a commitment to the education of each other in this conversation, not just the young people.
Ruth, thank you so much for your question and for your response. I think we have time for a couple more questions. So who else? Mr. Ali, I've clocked. Anyone else? Joe, you've spoken already. Zainab, you've spoken already. You have the same question. Pete. Yeah, let's have Pete next, and then Mr. Ali as our final question.
Yeah, as the nature of some of the work that I do, charity work, I speak to a lot of parents. And I've heard you say about having parks and things for the kids. A lot of parents are sceptical about sending their kids to the park because they don't feel safe. How would you make the kids safe?
Thank you. So how will children be made safe or made to feel safe, particularly in our parks and open spaces? We'll start at this end with Zach.
Thank you for your question. I think, again, it all comes down to, obviously, I keep repeating myself, it's the finances, because obviously we need more investment in the police. The only way, obviously, we can obviously get more police officers on the streets is obviously more investment. So we need a bigger police presence, and obviously, whether that be on the streets, in the parks, that's the only way we're going to get, obviously, safer streets, safer parks. I mean, and I think that's the only way we can make them safer. Thank you. Thank you for your question.
Thank you. Duncan?
think while other candidates talk about finances and it's becoming the same old boring story, I think, you know, community and education is actually free, and if we teach safer places for people to be, we tell the children and show them that it's safe to be there, maybe the parents will start to listen as well. We need to ensure obviously CCTV cameras are up, which obviously it lacks. Antisocial behaviour needs to go down. Obviously we need to liaise with business, with policing. So there's very many different routes that we have to go down. We have to formulate a plan together as one, not as me as your body, but work together as one rather than against. Thank you.
Thank you. To Labour.
Thank you. So when I was growing up, I used to go to Warden Park quite a lot. That used to have a base at the bottom of the park off Foxton Road. There used to be youth workers based there, so they monies as well. We've got 640 parks in the city, so it's quite hard to have a hub in every single park. But one of the things that we are looking at is to increase the number of park rangers across the city, so they will share their duties with the police officers to ensure that our kids are safe. Parks, I've said it all along, our city's greatest assets. The more we can place services in parks, the more safer they are. The larger parks, the Dexter parks, Sutton Coldfield Canyon Park, they have other services in there, so they've got the toilet facilities, they've on site. That's what we need to look at going forward across all of the parks, working with the police at the same time. Thank you.
Thank you. And Lib Dems.
Hi, typical answer from Labour. What can you expect, unfortunately? They're dealing with the whole of the parks. We're talking about here Bromford, and he's talking about going to America. What we need right now is the parks which are here in Bromford and Hodge Hill. What are the facilities here for the children? None. You go down Bromford Drive. Where can the parents go there? There's only one handful of just swings and little things there. We need a proper park facilities. We need park attendants. We need to invest in park attendants. With regards to the respectable gentleman at the end talking about finances, you got £650 million here from the government that needs to be utilised. That money needs to be utilised here for Bromford. So whatever the funding is for the Bromford, that used to be invested for the people of Bromford and Hodge Hill. We need to make sure there are park attendants, CCTVs in place. That's what this community needs, and that's what we will be implementing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Pete, would you like to respond?
Yeah, I was hoping that somebody might have actually said, we'll talk to the community. I didn't hear one person say we'd talk to the community, what they want. CCTV is fine. But CCTV only tells you what's happened. It doesn't help prevent it. Because people will come and they'll mask up or whatever. So that doesn't help. Rangers, they need to be there all the time. And the kids and parents need to know that somebody is about that they can go to when there's a problem. Not in 2 hours, but there and then. Thank you.
Thank you, Pete, for your question and your response. Mr. Ali.
Thank you, Al. Good evening, everyone. We talked about young people, about the lack of opportunity that they have. On our doorstep in Hodge Hill, on Drews Lane, and also the new depot in the city centre, we have over £100 billion HS2 being built. The question is, what are you going to do in your capacity as elected councillors in order to give our young people those skilled jobs, those apprenticeships, and hopefully when they are in a position, a lot of the challenges we talked about, that will be a thing of the past. So how will you engage with HS2 and bring opportunities for our young people in Hodge Hill?
Thank you. We're going to start with Duncan at this end and then work our way along the line. So how are you going to engage with HS2 in this ward to help local young people get skilled jobs and apprenticeships?
Yeah, I think obviously HS2 is obviously a big thing for Birmingham, and obviously it's going to link us between here and London. Obviously London's the place of opportunity, so obviously the youth are going to grow up and obviously be able to go to London and have obviously greater jobs. Obviously there is greater jobs in Birmingham, but obviously there's better opportunities there as well. Something I'm really keen on doing is finding apprenticeships. Obviously I want to liaise with the directors of HS2 to bring in new programs to get the youth in. There are colleges, universities that I'm obviously partnered with that I can get people in as well. They're obviously people aged 16 and above obviously can do that. But yeah, that's sort of my plan, to speak with them and obviously liaise that back. Thank you.
Already talking with HS2, not many community activists and organizations are associated with them, and I've spoken to HS2 staff members, managers. They've advised me that they have been advertising these jobs in the local job centres, and they have also advised that there are local community cohesion officers around here, and then also Labour Party, they did not do much to invest and promote, so they got the jobs elsewhere. They should have implemented this here right now. So what we will be doing is we will be advertising these jobs, make sure all these opportunities are available across colleges, universities, so the people are aware of it. That's what we will be doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And to Labour?
Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Ali, for the question. We've already been working with HS2 for many years now, and we've had events where we've invited HS2 along, and they've spoken to, we've advertised them in the community, people have come along, and they've spoken directly with the people from HS2 about job opportunities, etc., apprenticeships, and we regularly liaise with colleges. I also, on a regular basis, parents or the young people themselves contact us directly inquiring about apprenticeships, and I always direct them to the portal where they can apply for the apprenticeships. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. I think firstly what we have to do, we have to look obviously what skills are required for these actual jobs. So I think there needs to be a better skills matching service with the local colleges, so we need to work with them so we can obviously match the skills to the courses to what the youngsters have to do to get those jobs. And I think partnering with HS2 would be a good idea, so we can obviously work with them to ensure that they do advertise their obviously jobs at the local obviously youth centres and the local obviously job centres, and obviously hold events with them as well. So obviously we can have local events, local job fairs with them obviously, and obviously invite a lot of young adults and adults to see if they're willing to obviously take up those careers, and obviously see what skills and education they have to go to get those careers. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ali, would you like to respond? No? Thank you very much. Thank you, candidates, for your responses. Miraculously, we still have time for one more question. So I'm looking around. I am now going to allow people who have asked questions before. And I think it feels fitting, as Zainab, you started the evening, I'm going to finish with you.
So in the event that there has to be a coalition, who are you willing to work with, and how will you manage the coalition?
Thank you, Zainab. In the event that there is a coalition in Birmingham City Council, who are you prepared to work with? Yeah? Is that the question? I am going to suggest we start at this end with Zach, and then we'll work our way along.
Paul, thank you for your question. It's a bit of a tough one, really. Obviously, I think if we're elected, obviously we're answerable to yourselves. So obviously, in my case, I'm happy to work with anybody who obviously shares the same values, shares the same goals for the area. So yeah, I mean, obviously we may disagree on a few things, but I think as long as our main aim is to improve the area, I'm happy to work with whoever obviously has the same goal and same aims. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for your question. That's pretty easy to answer. I and my colleague, we both have the same values, and we will work with anybody who shares our values, but we will not work with reform.
Thank you. Lib Dems?
We will not be working with reform at all. I'm making it an open statement on Facebook, my Twitter, everywhere is all there. That's a Lib Dem policy as well. Lib Dems are willing to work people who believe in Lib Dem policies. So if we are going to have a collision, if another party believes in same value as ourselves, we will work with them. Other than that, we will not work with, especially the right-wing extremist parties. Thank you very much.
The truth is, I will not listen to leaders and tell me what to do. It's as simple as that. If by chance it's me and Labour, me and Lib Dems, me and the Greens, I work with everybody, regardless. It's as simple as that. You are the important people. These lots are not. They're just your voice, and it's as simple as that. Although they call me a far-right extremist and blah, 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 you know, it's the same old tune. It's just spreading hate, spreading the agenda. And I'm bored of it. You lot are bored of it. Let's work together. Simple as that. Thank you very much.
No, sorry, we don't have space for that. But Zainab, we do have space for you to reply.
So obviously, you're going to have to work with whoever we vote for. So in the event that reform does get a seat at the table, how are you going to manage that if you're the only two councillors there? Oh, okay. Okay, I think maybe the right answer is just that we want you to serve us and our interests, and the best way forward is just to work with whoever it is that's there so that we can get the best outcomes for the community.
Thank you, Zainab. Thank you for your question and your response. We have come to the point where I'm going to invite all the candidates to make a closing statement. You have a minute each. We're going to start at this end with the Reform candidate, and then we're going to finish at this end with the Green candidate. So 1 minute each for closing statements, something that you want people to take away with them tonight as we go into the final week before polling.
Some of the things I want you to take away when considering me, I'm open to suggestions. I want to be at your disposal. I want to work with whoever we choose as our local councillors. It's very, very clear. It could be a coalition, and it could be me and someone else, or Lib Dems and whoever. We have to work together. We cannot divide, and if you're going to cause division, there's no room for you in this community. I want to work with local organisations, work with the youth services. That's obviously a big thing, and obviously budget as well. It needs to be elevated. Yeah, that's all I've got to say. Thank you very much for having me. Bye.
Yeah, we want to end the bin strike, collect the bulky waste collection every 3 months, fix the potholes, less of antisocial behaviour, more of youth clubs, more parks, more facilities for the elders, cap the council tax, free bus pass for the school children, more of CCTV, and work on the cost of living. Thank you.
If you vote for us, like Duncan said, if he was elected and if I was the second candidate, obviously we will work with him. But as a collision, we will not do a collision. As a government, if he was a hang parliament, Lib Dems will not go in partnership with reform. That's what I was sending the message across. That was the question as well. So with regards to voting on the 7th of May, obviously I will live in this area. I've done quite a large amount of work for the community. My work has already been seen. With regards to, also we had UKIP come to here, Fox and Goose. I was working with the local community, guarding that, making sure all the community was safer. I worked with the police voluntarily on many bases. I also worked with regards to when the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans came to Aston. I was working with the police as a volunteer. Many people even here, some of them are sitting, criticize me that I was hiding behind 700 police officers. So please vote for me. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you to everyone who has taken the time to give their personal time to ask questions, share your views, and be part of this conversation. Also, thank you to the volunteers. Incredible amount of these type of questions, so thank you. But this is what makes Bromford Hodge Hill special. It's not just a place of community where people care, speak up, and look out for one another. As I've said, this is the first time in years that we've got housing settlement, which means we can now deliver what we wanted to deliver in Bromford and Hodge Hill. We've already got plans to bring back a free bulky waste collection for every household, invest in safe, more active streets, support local projects that bring people together and strengthen our community. We've already invested £7 million into Beaufort School. Tower blocks will be refurbished. There's a decent homes project. So by 2030, every single social housing in Bromford and Furs will have a decent homes programme going forward. And this is because Bromford and Hodge Hill deserves the very best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for coming along this evening, and thank you for your questions. If you re-elect me, I will continue to work hard as I have over the last 10 years, and I will continue to uphold my principles of honesty, integrity, and I reiterate, I will not work with Reform, but I will work with any other party that shares our values of cohesion with the community, and we are against racism. And thank you everyone, and thank you to the organisers for hosting this event. Thank you.
We cannot continue with the same Labour-run council, same mess, same failures, time for change. If you continue with Labour, the bin strike will continue for years. Labour says one thing and does another. Potholes will continue to increase, declining social and affordable housing, dangerous drivers on our roads, increased council tax and business rates year after year, more of the same, wasting our money, morally and financially bankrupt. There is no end in sight to Labour's incompetence. Luckily, there's light at the end of the tunnel, and that is the 7th of May. Vote for me, and I will work to end the bin strike, end incompetence, fix the financials, stable council tax and business rates. Residents win, businesses win, young people win, and we invest in our area. Now is the time for change. Labour control must end, and it must end now. Only a Green-led council can sort out Bromford, Hodge Hill, and Birmingham for good. Thank you for your time tonight, and have a good evening. Vote for the Greens. Thank you.
Thank you. I have one more short question. Ismail. Yes. Is that... Yeah.
Yeah, the question is, if you get voted in, we would like to continue like once a month or every 6 weeks for feedback, so we can all come, raise issues, so we can like better our area going forward. So can you just quickly say whether you'd be up for that? And so you're available, we can find you.
So if you are elected on the 7th of May, how would you be available to local people and to a forum like this? We've got a whole lot of wonderful local people in the room. How would you continue to engage with local people and make yourself available to them? Let's begin with Duncan and end with Zach again.
I think a local councillor should always be held accountable, and I'd be very, very much up for liaising with the Reverend to use this space every month, maybe every 3 weeks or whatever it takes. I'll be open to your suggestions, that you hold me accountable and hold the other candidate obviously accountable. Can I just say, my other candidate was supposed to be here. He had sadly a death, so he couldn't be here. But you know, we are on a mission to obviously make a change, but I want to be at your disposal all the time. Thank you very much.
I live locally. I'm available all the time. I do quite a large amount of community work. I don't abscond like Labour Party. Already Labour Party has let us down. We would rather have weekly, maybe a couple of weeks, even month. I don't mind. So I'm here for the community 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days. I live local. I got a local business. I'm also, right now, many candidates around here may be laughing at me, but it's not a joke. This is a very serious matter, actually. So what I will suggest is that the community should get together and they should form any forums, and I will be there. Whenever required, I'm there 24/7, so there's no stoppage for me. I'm already doing that work right now across the ward. Many residents are calling me, even in the middle of the night, so like a call-out doctor. I'm going there, I'm trying to help them, so I'm available to you guys.
Yeah, you can always call me 24/7 on my phone. You can email me. I have a local business in Hodge Hill, so I'm always available there with my colleague, Mr. Iftikhar Hussain. I'm an activist. I'm not a politician. So whenever you need me, we are always available for you. Thank you.
Thank you. To Majid?
Yeah, thank you. I live local, so I'm accessible 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for residents. We'll continue with our advice surgeries. We hold one every fortnight, one in Bromford and one in Hodge Hill. We are thinking of increasing them to 3. Now that we're in a better financial situation, we will increase the number of ward forums. Unfortunately, because of the budget situation, we weren't able to hold them. There'll be one every 3 months across different schools in Bromford and Hodge Hill. I'm always going to schools. This week I was at Cobham Prime, so I think it's really important that we interact with our schools, because that's our future in the schools as well. There's also a community improvement district which some of the members have created here, and we're working with them. I think that would be one of the hubs that we use going forward. But events like this, I think once a month at least would be more than happy for us to attend. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. I'm more than happy to attend any event that the community organises, and I'm always willing to attend. And we continue with our advice surgeries and hopefully increase those as the funding is increasing. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Yeah, obviously I'm up for events like this. It's my first election. I've actually absolutely loved this. I think this is a great way to bring the community together, coming back to your question as well. So I think, yeah, the more we can have this, the merrier. This is fantastic, and I think we need more of it. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm looking for Arma. Do you want to respond at all?
So they said about the funding. Well, like an event like this, funding isn't really an issue, because we've got here, we can also, we're willing to use the Hodge Hill Community Centre going forward as well. So I think it's, a good way to go forward. So we hope to see you all there.
Thank you. So, we have reached just about the end of our evening. We're a little bit ahead of time. At this point, I want to say a big thank you to all the candidates for attending tonight, for responding to the questions. And I want to say a huge thank you to those of you in the audience who've come with your questions and have come to listen and engage tonight. We did say that we would allow our candidates, if they would like to go at this point, please feel free to leave. We're going to have just a little short conversation as an audience together. If you wish to stay, then that's also very okay. We will be finished by 9 p.m. quite comfortably. So, one last question to the audience. Sorry, Phil. If you would like to have a chat in 2s and 3s again for 5 minutes, where do we go from here? If this is the beginning of a journey of building local democracy, of engaging with our politicians, but also engaging with each other, engaging in the work of building a better community here, and using the resources of our politicians and the budgets that they control and all the rest of it, where do we go from here? What would you like to see as a next step, not to ask these people, but for us together to continue building something locally? What would you like to see, and how would you like to be involved? So 5 minutes, again, in small groups, have a chat with each other, and then we'll hear 1 or 2 responses before we finish. They said they were coming. They said they were coming, but yeah, I've kept sending the emails just like to the rest of you, so I haven't had a response tonight. So yeah. Great. Yeah. Do you want to do that after, when I call people back together? Would you like to? Yeah, that's great. Do you know what colour? Do you know what colour? No. If the owner of a Honda Civic in the car park would like to move their car, please. The owner of a Honda Civic, it is blocking somebody in. Please, can you move your car? We'll reconvene in 1 minute. 1 minute. Okay, can I invite people to take your seats for a final moment of conversation? Would you like to come back together? Okay, folks, would you like to please take your seats? Just want to hear from you one last time. So this is not questions for the candidates now. This is us together building democracy locally. What can we do from here to continue building on what we've done tonight? Who from the audience would like to offer us a thought or a suggestion? John, do you want to start? Can you come and use the microphone?
Well, we think it's been great what's happened here tonight, because it's the first time I've seen people in the flesh rather than just on a dry ballot paper and a few pamphlets to the door. So thank you all for coming and putting yourself to the test. But I had an idea is that maybe some forum like this, where you come on a monthly, bi-monthly basis for the people who are the councillors and the people then who don't win but are going to be the prospective councillors or fighting for it, so that you're constantly tested and challenged. Rather than election time, it all comes here and then fizzles out. So if we committed ourselves to challenging you, would you be committed as councillors and the ones who don't win, but are going to be obviously challenging the next time, to keep coming to things like this? Because then we'll have the conversation. It creates a space for a continuous conversation.
Thank you, John. Great suggestion. Other suggestions or thoughts from the audience? What else did you discuss? How can we build on this? Yeah, Ruth.
Thank you. One of the things we talked about was visibility. I hope you don't mind me sharing that boundary, not quite knowing which constituency you're part of. Actually, I only found out about this because I watched my dad walk out the door. Where are you going, Dad? Oh, there's a thing, sign up. So if you're not on the forums, on the pages, and not following on the socials, how do you know? And I love a mail drop, but also it kind of goes in the recycling that doesn't exist anymore. So how are we being more visible? And is it about the conversations we're having? We're thinking about the people that come into the community. If I'm new here, I've circled back, I've come back, and I'm like, well, who do I chat to? I've got to go down to the shops, down to the hub to start the conversations. So I guess there's a little kind of chicken and egg. Yes, we need to be proactive in talking to each other. We need the spaces to do that and the confidence, but I don't know, do we need like a welcome party? Little banners? A little, you're just new to the area, here's a little welcome pack, a little basket, little community monitors, I don't know. But just something that gives us more visibility and, you know, I'm not just chasing my dad down the street to find out this is happening. Just saying.
Thank you, Ruth. More visibility. Any other suggestions or thoughts or insights for moving forward? Black Honda Civic, the owner of a black Honda Civic, please can you move your car because you are blocking someone in and they're frustrated. Yep, Phil. No, just come to the microphone. No, you do need the microphone because otherwise we won't hear you on the recording.
Right, I've heard lots of things tonight about certain different age groups and different things going on, but I've not heard one thing yet about the people that made all this possible, which is the pensioners, guys, you know, because none of us would be sitting around here properly at this moment if they hadn't gone to work all them years, paid the taxes and looked after you. And it's like, the problem is when you get to a certain age, you disappear, you're invisible. That's how I feel. I mean, I'm 72, right? And I've worked since I was 15. I'm Birmingham born and bred, in the back streets and Nechells, in the back-to-back houses, Peaky Blinders stuff, honestly, right? So none of this is new to me. So I'd like to know exactly what you're going to do to sort of give the pensioners a bit of a, like, look after them a bit more, you know.
Thank you, Phil. Sadly, not a question for our candidates tonight, but something for them to go away and think about. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to say to all the candidates, good luck. But one thing you must remember, after the election, the Hodge Hill and the community is going to stay here. Regardless of two of you winning and the rest of you losing. We need all to get together and keep this community going, not just for 6 weeks, not just for 4 weeks. We as a community, we need to know each other and help each other.
Thank you very much, sir. And I'm going to give the last word to my colleague on the organising group, Ismail.
Thank you. I wanted to follow up on a few points, but firstly I wanted to thank everyone that came, because these things aren't possible without a community that actually turns up and cares. And you know, we've got our candidates, regardless of who's elected. It's actually the strength of us coordinating together and keeping the momentum up that will deliver change in the future. So I hope we'll be following up via email to get your consent to keep contacting you about further events. So please look out for them. If you haven't signed up online, please leave us your email address. And I would love it if you could commit to sharing with one other person that isn't aware of our group, to try and get them to sign up, because we want to keep growing and we want that visibility to be there, and we're totally open to ideas. And I wanted to just thank the candidates that turned up, because we actually have more candidates in the ward. I think we have 11 or so, and these were the ones that came and faced the music. So, you know, genuinely thank you for turning up.
Thank you, Ismail. So it is the time for thank yous now. I want to thank my colleagues on the organising group. We pulled this together in the space of a few weeks, and I hope you all agree it's been a really good night and a good conversation. So thank you to everybody who's been involved in making this happen tonight. Thank you to the candidates for coming and answering questions and engaging respectfully, generally. It's been really good to have you all with us tonight. Sadly, we did hear from a member of the Workers' Party that they were coming tonight, but they've not turned up, so I don't know what that's about. But perhaps they were working, says Phil. Well, indeed. Sadly, they've not turned up. Also, we contacted the Conservative Party and we didn't have any response from them, just so you know. So thank you to our candidates. Majid has asked me to say thank you to Ishal, who's turned up tonight and supported her dad and had to endure 2 hours of local politics. So I'm sure you're now suitably embarrassed. And lastly, thank you to all of you for coming tonight. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for listening carefully. Thank you for engaging. Thank you for your thoughtful responses. Thank you for those suggestions at the end. We will take those away, and we, as an organising group, will listen to those and we'll seek to respond. And, you know, we'd love those of you who are passionate about politics in this area, those of you who are passionate about building a stronger community, we'd love you to be part of that growing group to help us build from here. But believe it or not, in a few years' time, we will have a general election where I hope we'll have twice as many people in the room, hopefully not twice as many people behind the table here. But hopefully we can build a movement in this area leading up to the next general election. But for now, thank you, all of you. Go with our gratitude, go with God's blessing, and hopefully keep in touch with you and see you again soon.